Okay, guys, thanks very much for dialing in. This is the PB Hit Squad. We're going to go for a short, probably 15-20 minute discussion on strength and conditioning, short bit of Q&A, and then we'll have another drop-in session during the week. The invite time to be determined, probably Thursday. Myself and Mark will coordinate on what time it is. And if anyone has any specific things they want to go over, drop in and have a chat. Okay. But today it's all about strength and conditioning. So I'm going to share my screen. Right, share screen. Current slide. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so S&C or strength and conditioning. It's something that a lot of triathletes overthink, overanalyze, and possibly, depending on the athlete, over or underdo. So we're going to talk about why you should do it, how you should do it, and we have some options as well for home-based exercise, which we'll talk through a little bit, and then just Q&A. Okay, all right. So why bother with strength and conditioning? First off, it is one of the reasons why the really strong, consistent athletes, they manage to avoid injury. They work on their core, they work on was it the key kind of heavy lifting muscles, glutes, quads, etc. So when they're out hammering up a hill on the bike, they don't end up tearing calf muscles, etc. If done correctly, and again, when I say strength and conditioning, I include kind of yoga, stretching, Pilates as well in this, as more rather than just lifting heavy weights, as much more than that. It can improve flexibility and balance, again, which tie into kind of keeping us injury free, consistency equal gains. On the lifting the light to heavy weights, you'll build up strong muscles that will unlock power and speed on race day. Particularly in the bike, particularly on the run, if you've got a good kind of strong set of quads and glutes, you're definitely going to be much stronger off the going either up a hill on the bike or on the flat. Okay. The other item as well is discipline specific benefits in the swim. And not only can you build up your lats and your biceps as well and get a good stronger catch, you'll also, if you've got a good strong core, you're more hydrodynamic. Everyone talks about aerodynamics and rest, but hydrodynamic is if you're up in the if you're nicely high in the water and not with your backside dragging like that, causes resistance. You will prevent yourself from dragging and causing resistance in the water. So swim is hydrodynamic. Bike, stronger legs, faster, stronger. Even going up a hill, going down, was it on the flat? Raw power. Run, stronger core, stronger legs. You'll feed up you'll feed your speed endurance, your ability to go faster for longer. Okay, guys, make sure you're muted when you're in there. I'm just gonna make sure that. Okay. Yep, I think we're all muted there. Perfect. Okay. So anything else you want to add to that, Mark, in terms of why it's a good idea to have some level of strength and conditioning in the plan?
No, just all the stuff you've already mentioned, Steve. It's the robustness that it gives you, injury prevention, all the benefits of flexibility and mobility, like you've covered. Yep, you've nailed it.
Cool, excellent. Okay, alrighty. Next up then is when to do it. We get this question a lot in terms of we already have a fairly full schedule. We're swimming, we're biking, we're running. So when everyone goes, oh, well, I should, where to fit in the strength and conditioning, etc. It is a case of balancing that and making it sort of bite-sized chunks rather than having to set in an hour session in the gym where you're going to have to hit weights and all that, because then you're going to have to sacrifice something. So we talk a little bit how we play around with that. Some caveats. If you're doing 90% of the sessions in my plans, or you're probably doing enough strength and conditioning work already. Because what not only are you doing there, if you're doing overgeared work on the bike, if you're doing strength sessions, if you're doing hill work on the runs, if you're doing paddle and pull buoy work on the swims, those are designed to actually target muscles, and those are your strength sessions, right? So if you're under time pressure and you can't fit it in, it's not a disaster. I'll talk a little bit more about the Pilates side of things, which is little bit different than just actually lifting weights. If you are going to do gym-based workouts and you are going to do lift weights to try and get more powerful muscles, it's very important you get correct technique and you make sure you get proper instruction. Because what a lot of triathletes new to sport will go in, they go, okay, right, I need to bench press, I need to lat pull. And they go in and they don't really know what they're doing. They try to, they see some guy, whatever, lifting, whatever, 100 kg, and they try to mimic it and they don't follow bad form and they get injured. You start low weights, you start low repetitions, as in a number of times you repeat that exercise in a set, and you build up slowly, and you make sure you get proper form instruction. Get the gym instructor, get someone who actually knows what they're doing, go to say, listen, what do we do? No, bend your knees, make sure you're not taking a weight, make sure your knees aren't bending, all these sort of key instructions. Strength and conditioning is never a substitute for rehab. And when I say this in terms of, I consider more rehab stretching, Pilates, yoga as well, which can be done 10, 15 minutes in front of the TV, rather than, and you're not sort of going, okay, well, I did the gym and I lifted weights for 30 minutes. That means I don't need to do my stretching. No, you're just going to tighten muscles and you're going to end up injured later on. What else? You can experience DOMS as well after the first time you do weight. So it's about, DOMS stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. If you've ever gone to the gym, lifted a load of weights and all the rest, next day you are sore and your muscles go, oh, I can't even move my arms. How can I move my legs? And you say, okay, right, how am I going to do training? So again, back to my point, you slowly build up into the you slowly find your correct technique, the amount of time you have, and your repetitions, and you build that up slowly over time, or else you'll end up either injuring or sort of put yourself out of days, a couple of days of other training. However, if you do have a bit of time and it works for you and rest, there is a smart way of actually inserting strength and conditioning into your existing plan. I would say the best days for adding in strength are where you have light sessions. We're not gym bunnies. We're not here to do bodybuilding work. We're here to get stronger muscles to make us faster triathletes. Typically Mondays and Fridays in my plans typically are light, because the Friday normally is a Friday or Monday is a rest day, depending on how people actually look for it. Then that's a good day if you've a bit of time and you actually think you'll benefit from it. You have a functional weakness, as in you might have very weak glutes and therefore you find it struggling to get up the hills on a bike. That's a day where you can sit in 30 minutes in the gym. Mondays, again, even if they're not your rest days, tend to be a light, either run or recovery swim, just because you will have done a long bike and a long run, as we're weekend warriors, over the Saturday and Sunday. Then a little bit of light work in the gym will help flush out lactate and also kind of trigger off those muscles. For me, even if you're going to put other sessions in, be very aware of the muscle groups you're targeting. So if you're going to do an upper body, typically weight sessions are either you target your upper body, your biceps, your chest, your lats, etc. And then you do your leg day, or whatever, your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, your calves, etc. Be aware of those muscle groups and how you're going to structure that weight training session. So it would make no sense to do a heavy paddle and pull boy session on a Wednesday morning and then go up to the gym that evening and do a big upper body workout, because you're hitting the same muscles over and over again. They're going to get tired. They're going to possibly get injured. What would make more sense if, for example, if you had a light recovery run on that Wednesday, and then you go, okay, well, actually, I feel quite fresh. I've a bit of time. I'm going to hit the gym. I'll do some upper body work, and that will help me in the swim later on. Okay, so key is build into it lightly, gently, make sure you know what you're doing, and then also just be aware of the muscle groups you're targeting, and don't overload your days. Don't try to do 3 sessions in a day because you want to get some strength and conditioning. That's a bad idea. It's okay to even do so light weights in front of the TV, 10, 15 minutes, as on top of your previous workouts. And that's not going to overload you. And again, it will add into stretching. Mark, anything you'd like to add to there, or?
Yeah, just on the DOMS thing, my physio told me you have to earn, or I have to earn the right to be able to do different stuff. And what he means by that is I have to really go slowly into new exercises and any new routines, so your body just adapts to it slowly, rather you're not going in for the big bang and then, start damaging your Achilles and something else like that. So I would just remember that phrase now, earn the right to do it. And then the other one, we talked about balance there of upper body and lower body, but also need to consider as well the balance in specific areas of your body. If you do a lot of a lot of bicep work and neglect the tricep, what you'll end up with is bent arms, because you've shortened the bicep that much. It's not balanced with the tricep, pulling it back, and then you'll end up, walking like a gorilla with your arms nice and short, which doesn't help swimming when you want to extend, because you need to extend that without restriction of your bicep, keeping your arm bent in the water. As well as that, if you're doing chest work, the amount of chest work you do has to be balanced with an equal amount of back work. If you don't balance that, again, what's going to happen is you're going to work so much on the pecs, which will, they'll shorten, they'll pull your shoulders forward, and you'll end up with rounded shoulders, which really impacts your swimming. That's rotator cuff injury written all over it, because you can't have the back or the shoulders nice and square and in line, and that's what we're looking for, is the alignment. But then to be able to swim properly and be able to use those shoulders, the way they're designed to be in line with your body. So definitely, always consider, if you're doing biceps, do triceps. If you're doing chest, do back as well, to make sure you've got that balance. And the same goes for the legs, right? You're doing quads and you need to do hamstrings. It's making sure the balance, and try and do equal amounts of workout for the front and back muscles.
Yep. And they call it was it concentric eccentric muscles. We extend one, you pull the other. You kind of there's a little bit more to that as well. But yeah, no, all very good points. Okay, doke. So we talk a little bit about now what swim muscles. Now, normally in this session we go into a little bit more in a bit more detail, but I'd like to point out, as PB Hit Squad members, you're entitled to pick up any of the strength and conditioning plans I have on Training Peaks for free, and they're 8 weeks worth of exercises with the suggested progressions and reps, etc., and demos of the actual exercise. So I'm not going to go into too much detail describing the exercise, because there's also video demos of them. If you want the plan, ping me an email afterwards, and I'll send you the coupon, and then you can apply it, and it'll overlay on your plan. But you need to process that little bit of kind of common sense, where, because there's typically 4 sessions in the week, but you go, okay, right, it suits me to do one leg session, 1 upper body session. I'll do that on a Monday and a Friday. So if you want the plan in Training Peaks format, just ping me an email afterwards. Swim muscles and how. The pec muscles, our pecs here are what we use in our pull part of our swim stroke. As I said, once we're strong, we get that right. We have able to create propulsion as we pull past our shoulder and past our hip. In the gym, you can do press up, bench press. At home, you can do push-ups. Biceps, again, it's used in the pull part of the swim stroke. In the gym, there's the barbell curl, and at home, if you have a chin up or something you can pull yourself up on, that's an easy home option. Triceps, as Mark discussed, this is our muscle here, and that's part in the push part of our stroke. When we're actually coming in and we're pushing our arm past, you can feel the triceps.
Sorry, Steve, can you let Norman back in? He dropped the call by mistake.
Oh yeah, great. Okay, sorry. All right, in he goes. Triceps, there's the tricep extension machine, where you can pull that down there, down, and you can put until you actually feel a tricep engage there. A bench dip, again, is when you're sitting on your seat and you kind of just dip down like that. Okay, again, not going to go into too many demos, all in the training plan. Lats, they're kind of your heavy lifter muscles behind here. Using the pull and push part of the stroke. Lat pull downs, is that your machine where you pull down behind you, or chin ups. Swim muscles, any other input there, Mark, or any other thoughts?
No, I mean, yeah, they're typically the ones you would go for, Steve. Yep.
Brandy job. Right. You can talk a little bit about the bike muscles, seeing as you've got much bigger bike muscles than I have.
We will not mention your chicken legs.
Well, they can only grow bigger. Are there meant to be
That is true.
drumsticks after Alicante?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so the bike muscle we're looking to use your hamstrings. So they boost your pull through, both for cycling and running. So the return stroke when you're pulling the leg back through the pedal. So they're looking at really leg curls. So that's one of the machines in the gym you can do those on, or kettlebell or dumbbell swings as well if you've got access to those. The glutes is generate a huge amount of power, and without the glutes activated, you then end up overloading the other leg muscle groups and can lead to injury. So it is important to make sure your glutes are activated. Squats. You don't need to do these with weight. You can just doing a load of these in front of the TV is perfect. Glute bridges, great exercise, and always there's plenty of options there to advance those and make them harder. You can put bands around your knees and have tension on the band, so you're tensioning your knees apart with the band whilst also doing a glute bridge, which really strengthens the glutes. Have one leg off the ground as well, and then lunges. Some great exercises there. So quads, obviously, a lot of the power in the bike is driven by the quads. It's not the only muscle, and we'll talk about the pedal stroke in a second. But that's your main driving force down. If you haven't really got a smooth pedal stroke, what happens is you generally focus on that down stroke, which can overload the quads. But a really important muscle group to have to be strong for cycling. So what we're looking here is the leg press. It's another gym machine. Step ups, great exercise. Just nicely controlled though. Don't be jumping up and jumping down from the box. Just do like box jumps. Just nice controlled step ups. And when you get to the top of the step up, extending your hips forward so you get that full extension. And then the seated wall or the wall seats. Yeah. Calves as well. Obviously this is pedaling. The bike is really a full leg exercise. So it's used as part of the pull part of the pedal stroke as well. And drop the calf towards the end. So weighted calf raises, I can only speak, and calf raises. And you can do these at home on the staircase, and the calf raises can really help that way.
Yep.
So the pedal stroke, if you can get a nice, smooth pedal stroke where all the muscles are engaged throughout the stroke, you're super more efficient in a pedal stroke. You're not dropping watts and you don't have that dead spot in your pedal stroke. If you can get access to a watt bike, I have this really cool graph on the display screen, and you can see where you're starting to lose power. If it looks like a peanut or a figure of 8, you're dropping power on the return on the pull stroke of the pedal. If it's more like a sausage shape, you've got a good, efficient pedal stroke.
Yeah, so as Mark says, it's all about if you have weaknesses in certain muscle groups, as I said, like that's where you lose the power going through. Like, so if you have kind of weak hamstrings as such as on your pull through, it's the pedal, you're losing that quadrant of power instead of just that nice smooth power being pushed throughout the slope pedal stroke. Okay, look, thank you very much, Mark. Run muscles and how. Hamstrings, again, this is similar to our having good strong hamstrings gives us a good pull through for our running and our cycling. Same exercises in the gym. You can use the leg curl machine. At home, you can use the kettlebell swings. But again, be very careful. Hamstrings, these are muscles that can very easily get injured if you overload yourself. So again, back to my original point, light weights, easy reps until you actually feel really comfortable with the exercise, especially kettlebells. A lot of people put their back out with kettlebells and tear hamstrings, myself included, so just be careful. Glutes, again, power and leg drive. Again, the same sort of exercises, the leg press, step ups, and the wall seat. The wall seat is literally where you're sitting against the wall and you're putting your weight through your back, and you feel that your glutes will engage trying to hold that weight. Start off doing it for 15 seconds by 3 or like 20 seconds by 3. And over time, you'll see yourself actually sort of sitting there comfortably, although the muscles are kind of twinging or tingling after like a minute or so. So a good target to aim for. Calves.
Do you know what they use that? Do you know what they use that position for in the military? It's a stress position for interrogation techniques. So there you go. That's how painful it can be.
I did think that when my CrossFit trainer was making me do it for 2 minutes. So, so yeah, calves is when you help push off from running. Again, the weighted calf raises is again if you actually have calf raises as well. The more range of movement you get, the better the exercise is. As in, if you get onto a step and allow your calf raise all the way down, you're exercising, you're fully extending the muscle and then allowing it to contract again. But again, just be aware of how you start off. If you're very tight calves, very weak calves, just a gentle drop of the calf is fine. And again, over time, if you get full extension, you can put a bit of weight on it and all the rest up and down. And again, it just sort of strengthens the muscle. Anything else there on the run muscles, the Rushby?
No, other than the stress position.
Yeah. Well, I did think about that at one point. Okay, guys, we're 25 past. As I said, I didn't want to go into too much detail. We're kind of just getting kind of the point across of why strength and conditioning is important, but also at the same time how you fit it in, not to the detriment to your plan or to overload your muscles. These are the muscle groups you'll target for swim, bike, and run. If you do want the plans, which you can easily apply onto your own Training Peaks account as well, just drop me a note and I'll send you. I'll have to set up coupons, but that's fine. It's part of your PP Hit Squad membership. So any questions, guys, about the strength and conditioning stuff we've covered tonight? All very shy. All right. Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing on strength and conditioning. Is there any questions in general? Anything any tri-related questions? Anything you'd like to share?
I've got a question about the strength and conditioning, if that's possible.
Fire away.
Generally, I enjoy strength and conditioning and sort of was into that before triathlon. Well, whatever. Anyway, I enjoy it and I'd like to do more of it. I know that's a question maybe I should have with Mark, but I guess my question is when do you decide it no longer should be part of a weekly plan? Does that make sense?
It does. Mark, you're gonna handle this one, or no? Actually, let's see. So as we agreed on our holiday, it's okay that we disagree at times. I am more of a fan of strength and conditioning in the base period, where you're kind of building up more strength and more tighten up muscles. I find that in the build period, when we're getting more race specific, your muscles are more tired and there's more intensity, so there's less room to kind of hit on top of additional kind of weights and exercises. And also at that stage, are you really going to get much bang from your book as opposed to risking a possible injury from dropping a kettlebell on your foot and when you're 3 weeks out from your race type of thing? So I find more room for it in base training, if I'm honest. Mr. Rushby, do you have a counterpoint?
Yeah, I don't actually. I'm with you all the way on that one. I generally think that it is time. It's really around time, and it's the first thing that generally drops off people's schedules because they just don't have the time to fit in another hour somewhere or another half an hour. It's okay if you've got weights at home and you maybe have more ability to do that. But again, we're training for a particular race, and once we start getting into build phase, like Steve says, we're doing more race specific stuff, which is loading the muscles more, and the benefits we're getting from that are probably going to outweigh any strength and conditioning training doing. My idea of strength and conditioning training is more towards the off season and base phase, where we're trying to strengthen ahead then of going into a triathlon plan as such. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Steve.
Yeah, and actually just point out, because Clara is there, I know she's training for a hilly ultra marathon as well. I would argue that she does have, even in her build phase, there's room for her to do a bit of extra leg weights, just because she will be doing a lot of climbing in that ultra marathon. There's a lot of hills involved. So in that scenario, Clara is actually doing a bit of more race specific stuff. So yeah, so her build exercise would involve a bit more weights.
You want to stop the recording, Steve?
Oh God, yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Alrighty, and thanks very much for listening and for a little bit Q&A. As I said, I'll be sending out an invite for the drop-in session. It'll be on Thursday at some stage. Okay, thanks guys.